Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today I'm going to be showing you all of the thrillers that I own. Okay, so this video is going to be a little bit different because while I am showing you all of the thrillers I own, because you know, 'tis the season to be spooky, the reason I'm doing it is because I want you to pick one for me to read. So a little bit of backstory. I've read 3 books that I remember reading that I would say are in the contemporary thriller genre. So not like sci-fi thriller, not fantasy with thriller aspects, not Agatha Christie like crime mystery, like just 3 books that I would classify as simply contemporary thrillers. The first one was Emma in the Night by Wendy Walker. I really liked this one. The second was The Roanoke Girls by Amy Engel. I really liked that one as well. And the third one was The Woman in Cabin 10 by Ruth Ware, which I really did not like. If you have read those, you will get a bit of a taste for the thrillers that I do enjoy. I'm not a fan of crime thrillers. I don't like following detectives. I like psychological thrillers and domestic thrillers, I believe. That is what Twitter told me when I asked them to tell me what kind of thrillers I like. Spookathon is coming up, and while I do have a thriller in mind for that, I'm not 100% set. So if you guys tell me that another one of these is better, then I will read that instead. With that in mind, I'm going to show you the 15 thrillers that I own, and I would like you to tell me, based on your much better knowledge of the thriller genre than I have, which one I should read next. The first one I have is Bonfire by Kristen Ritter. I bought this because it is Kristen Ritter's book. That was like my main motivation for buying this book. The plot of it does sound similar to The Roanoke Girls. It is about a girl who left home a long time ago and she became an environmental lawyer, but something that happens in her hometown makes her want to go back. This is quite a short one. I did hear some quite good things about it, but you know, like I don't know anything about thrillers, so you guys will know more than I do whether this is a good one. Then I have 6-4 by Hideo Yokoyama. This is about a case that happened many years before the setting of this book, where a young girl went missing. They never found what happened to her, so her parents have been left in this limbo of not knowing whether their child is dead or alive, and I believe a detective reopens the case. Now, I did say that I don't like detective books. However, the reason I bought this is because it is a Japanese author, and I've been really interested in Japanese translated works and Japanese storytelling recently. One that's quite popular on BookTube, I have The Girl in 6E by A.R. Torre. This follows a cam girl who has murderous tendencies, and because of that she locks herself in her apartment and never leaves. However, a young girl goes missing and she has reason to believe that one of her sexy time cam clients may be responsible, so she leaves her apartment to try and find out what's happening with that. This one I'm kind of hyped about because it sounds like quite dark and twisted, and also I've obviously heard all the hype around this one. One that I don't know very much about at all is All Is Not Forgotten by Wendy Walker. The reason I picked this up is that it is by the same author as Emma in the Night, which is the first thriller I ever read, as I said earlier, and also it is my favourite of the 3 that I've read. So this one follows a girl who was attacked or abducted, and she remembers pretty much nothing about it. She has reason to believe that her parents and her doctors do know what happened to her, or have made sure that she can't really remember. So I'm intrigued with this one. Similarly to that, I have Before I Go to Sleep by S.J. Watson. This follows a woman whose memory disappears every time she goes to sleep, kind of like in 50 First Dates, and she's kind of been led to believe that this is a medical condition. However, something happens that maybe makes her believe that this is being forced upon her. It isn't a medical condition, and there are people who know what's going on and know what's wrong with her and are doing it to her on purpose. I have a couple by Marisha Pessel, the first one being Night Film. This one is about a director of some cult films, and his daughter is found and they believe that she's committed suicide. However, there's somebody who I believe is quite a big fan of his films who doesn't believe that she did actually kill herself, and so he delves into the cult horror film or whatever industry work that her father produces and the whole mystery of their family to kind of find out what happens. I'm intrigued about this one because of the mixed media content. That's something that I think would spice it up a little bit, and obviously there's a lot of hype surrounding this one as well. Then there's The Young Adult by Marisha Pessel, Neverworld Wake. Now this is the only one that I've included that is not like straight up contemporary. I believe that this has sci-fi elements, but I also believe that it is more focused on the thriller aspect, and this is about a girl whose friend died, and so she does not associate with the friends that she used to anymore. However, for some reason they are all back together and in a room. They all have to agree on a person that is going to either live or die, I can't remember which, but they all have to be in agreement, and until they can all agree on that one person, they have to just keep reliving this day over and over again. The only other young adult on here is There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. I believe that this one is like a 90s slasher horror flick, which sounds kind of fun. I think it's very different from the ones I have on here because it's meant to be more of like a fast-paced, heart-racing, kind of shallow slasher flick thriller, whereas the others are like all a little bit more deep and twisty. I don't think this would take me long to read, so I'm willing to give it a go. Another popular one is Big Little Lies by Liane Moriarty. This has been developed into a show. I believe that it follows 3 different housewives and mothers in quite a mid-class suburban area. It seems that they all have quite a few secrets, and something happens that kicks off a chain of events that maybe starts to reveal all of these secrets, which is something that the women do not want. One that I've heard is quite disappointing is Good Me Bad Me by Ali Land. This is about a girl whose mother is a serial killer, and she knows that her mother's a serial killer, and so she decides to hand her in to the police. Obviously she feels conflicted about this decision because while her mother is a serial killer, she is still her mother, and as the trial approaches, things start to heat up. I have heard that this is a little bit disappointing, however I did not let that deter me from buying it. I will admit the shiny cover did play a part in it, but also because I have read so little thrillers, I don't mind reading ones that people who are like experts on thrillers don't like, because it may still surprise me with me being so inexperienced in the genre. One that I kind of like the cover of and I'd seen on Goodreads is Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll. This follows a girl who went to a boarding school. Something happened there, she sort of blocked it from her memory, and years later she's being forced to relive what happened. That's all I know about this one. Kind of been unappealing to me since I got it, but if any of you guys like it then please let me know. This is the one that I tentatively have set for my thriller for the Spookathon, and that is because I really want to watch the TV show that has Penn Badgley and Shay Mitchell in it, and that is You by Caroline Kepnes. I know that this one is very popular, so I do think quite a few of you will want me to read this one, but this one follows a guy who is obsessed with this girl, and the unique thing about this one is that it is written in second person. So for example, so this afternoon you and I will go to IKEA where there will be no chance of us having sex. So it's meant to be quite creepy because of that. I am going to look as well, if I do read this one, if the audiobook is unscrubbed, because I want that full like chill factor feeling when I'm reading it. I believe this starts off with the guy kind of stalking her and is really compelled to have her be in a relationship with him, and then that happens and he's a little bit controlling and doesn't want to let go. But I'm very excited to read this one, so maybe you guys can let me know if it's good. And last up we have 2 very popular ones by the same author. The first one is Gone Girl. The second is Sharp Objects. I have seen the movie to this. I don't really remember any of it. I didn't really like it, but I bought it because I've heard that it's good. I also know somebody who's like not a bookish friend, but she tried to read this and it took her like 6 months. This one I bought because it's by the same author. I believe it's just been adapted into a show, and I literally know nothing about this one. I'm not going to try and give you the synopsis for these because I'm pretty much guessing that you guys will know a lot more about these than I can try to summarize. So these 2 are on there as well. On a side note, I do own one more, and that is The Girl in the Train by Paula Hawkins. Is that right? This is obviously a very popular one. I don't really know what it's about, but I do know that it's hyped, and I do have that one. However, it was my mum's, so it's like not here. But that is also an option if you would like me to read that one. So that is everything for all the thrillers I own. I really hope that you guys will help me pick one out. Even if you're not thriller readers, maybe if you just pick out the ones that sound most interesting to you, or if any of those are on your TBR and you're excited to read them, then you could maybe go for that one. But please don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to. If you head into my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as a link to my Bookish body butter and candle website, the Instagram for that, and a 10% off discount code. But that's it from me today. Bye!
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.